welcome back to my channel. My name is Rita and today I have a very special haul for you guys. Kinda. In my last video I did mention that I was away for a couple of months and this I want to say is maybe the last 3 months, so like November, December, January, and I've got like 30 something books. I've got a problem. I need to like go to book buying rehab or something like that. I'm not even gonna think about it. Let's just jump into it, alright? So the books that I'm showing you is not in any particular order. It's just kind of like how I pick them off the shelf. I always ask for books for Christmas, and there was one particular set of books that I wanted. Like, since it came out, I've been like desperately wanting this set, and that is the Harry Potter box set, the one with the matching spines that make up the Hogwarts. It's insanely beautiful, like, and the new covers are just they're great. They're beautiful. I don't know if you guys want to see it because I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. And it's like, you know, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, book number 5, Order of the Phoenix. Like, they're slowly caving on each other right now. The 6th book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince. And then the final book in the Harry Potter series, that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I knew it was coming because it was like the one thing I asked for Christmas, but, you know, it's still a nice surprise. Obviously, the next book is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by JK Rowling, the illustrated edition, and it is beautiful and like what? And it's kind of great for me because my little brother just turned 3, and he's like getting to the age where I'm like reading books to him while he goes to sleep, and I'm definitely gonna be excited for when all of these are released in illustrated form, so that way I can actually read it to him while he's still a kid, you know what I mean? So the next couple of books, or like box sets that I'm gonna show you guys, are books that have been out for like forever, and I just haven't really gotten the chance to read it, or I haven't caught up yet. Like, I'm rather ashamed. So, you know, just bear with me. I apologize in advance. So the next set of books I got is a box set after they like re-released it with the new covers and the matching spines. Is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This one I'm not gonna even go into the summary of because everyone should know it by now. I'm just one of those sad, pathetic people that haven't caught up yet, and especially with the new TV series out for it. I certainly hope that you've read this series. If not, we should totally talk. You know, message me down below. Tell me that you haven't read it either so I don't feel completely sad. This one, this next box set, I'm rather ashamed that I haven't read this series. To be honest though, I have just finished the first book, and I intend on doing like a review for it, and then eventually like a series of review at how I feel about the series at this age. And that series would be the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series by Rick Riordan. I'm super late on this series, and obviously if you have read the series, you know what books I'm talking, you know what this is about. If you don't, the books in order: book 1 is The Lightning Thief, book 2, Sea of Monsters, book 3, The Titan's Curse, book 4, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and book 5, The Last Olympian. Now, this is like a urban fantasy, urban fantasy with Greek mythology, and if you haven't read it, or completely read it through, you know, do the same thing with the people who haven't read the Mortal Instruments series. Comment down below, let me know that you haven't read it so that way I don't feel completely pathetic at this age that I haven't read this middle grade series. Now, if I haven't read the Percy Jackson series, obviously I haven't read Rick Riordan's second series, or like the spin-off series of the Percy Jackson series. That would be the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. Book 1, The Lost Hero. Book 2, The Son of Neptune. I'm your biggest fan! Yeah. Put that in your video! so much right now. Book 3, The Mark of Athena. Book 4, The House of Hades. Book 5, the last book in the series. It is The Blood of Olympus. So I don't feel too bad about not having read this series yet, because there is still a lot of, like, well-known booktubers that haven't even read this series, so I don't feel too bad. So those are all, like, the series slash box sets that I have to show you in my haul. So I guess I can start with the book that I'm currently reading, and that is Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Leer. Now, this is the first novel to the companion series. It is about a 15 or 16-year-old girl named Delilah who's obsessed with this fairy tale. The main character in the fairy tale that she's obsessed with, Prince Oliver, begins to talk to her. And it begins this, like, whirlwind of how Oliver can come to Delilah's world and how they're slowly falling in love with each other. So yeah, if you haven't read the book or the companion novel, I highly suggest you pick it up. So far, it's a pretty good read. But the next book that I have to show you is Howl's Moving Castle. I sort of picked this up because I watched the movie slash anime, and it's definitely one of my favorite, like, Studio Ghibli movies of all time. Now, the next book I have to show you comes highly recommended by Ben from Benjamin of Tomes, and that book is Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. Now, this book is about a girl named Mary Proctor who lives in Salem, modern day Salem. The thing with Mary is she is allergic to basically everything around her. Now, a humiliating event happens to her, and as she's, like, suffering an allergic reaction, and here's a voice calling to her from another world. And she agrees to come to visit this world, and she finds out that in this other dimension, this other universe, this other realm, there's another Mary, a Mary Proctor. And it turns out that in this world, magic and witches all exist, and Mary in both forms, Mary of this world and Mary of the witch world, turns out to be, like, she is the most powerful witch in existence. You know, it kind of unfolds like that. So yeah. So the next book I have to show you is Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. Now, I know this book has to do with dragons and other worldly kingdoms, and that's about all I really know. I just know that recently I've been kind of more and more in the mood for dragon books. This one comes highly recommended by everyone who reads it, so I'm excited to read it and figure out what's all the hype about. The next book I have is the final installment to All the Boys I've Loved Before, duology by Jenny Han, and that is P.S. I Still Love You. I don't want to really give you a synopsis because it is a second book to a duology, so if you haven't read the first book, I suggest you go check it out, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I've done a review of it, and I'll leave that link down below. Now, the next book I'm going to show you comes highly recommended by a lot of different booktubers, namely Kat from Catty-tastic. I heard that as soon as she got the book, she, like, read it, like, 6 times in a row, and that book, of course, would be Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that it's kind of like a spin-off of Fangirl in the sense that it is the story that Kath wrote, or was writing, like, that made her a famous fan fiction writer. I feel like whenever you're recording these books, these book hauls, or whenever you're talking about books that you're going to prospectively read, you're kind of all, like, the term, I'm excited to read this book, can't wait to start this book, that always, like, seems to be, like, the go-to whenever you talk about books. Sorry if, like, I sound so repeating, but, you know, it's true. I'm excited to read the book. So, the next book I have to show you is a book that I am sort of currently reading. I'm currently reading, I believe, like, 3 or 4 books. And one of them just so happens to be Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. It is about a girl named Emily whose best friend Sloane has disappeared, and so Sloane has left a list of things that Emily has to complete. And it's like different things, or it's like, you know, apple picking at night, dancing till dawn, and then it gets to a little more risque, where it's like kiss a stranger or go skinny dipping. I was enjoying this, but then Snowstorm Jonas came, and I'm just kind of like, It feels wrong reading a summer book during the middle of a snowstorm. It's weird. So the two books that I'm hauling for the Lunar Chronicles right now is Fairest, which I have read, and the second book is the last and final book, Winter. I can't really tell you what the two books are about, obviously, but all I'm going to say is if you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles and you're holding back, definitely check it out, because I was very reluctant to pick up the Lunar Chronicles to begin with, but now that I have picked it up, I am so glad that I have. The next three books that I'm going to show you are part of a series that I haven't really started yet. I kind of wanted to get all the books that are out right now, so that way once I do get engrossed in it, I'm stuck in that world. I don't have to leave and go buy it and then, the next three books I'm going to show you are all installments of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and they just so happen to be the Assassin's Blade, the third book, Air of Fire, and the fourth book, Queen of Shadows. I couldn't even give you a synopsis for these books, even if I wanted to, namely because I haven't even read the first two books. I'm genuinely excited to read these books because I've only ever heard great things about the Throne of Glass series. So the next book I'm going to show you is a contemporary standalone, I believe, and that is Everything by Nicola Yoon. Now this is a book about the main character, Madeline, who happens to be allergic to everything, obviously. And she's always, lives in fear of all of her allergies and everything like that, until one day a cute boy who moves in next door, and Madeline automatically finds herself drawn to this boy, and she knows inevitably she's going to fall in love with him. The next book that I bought just so happens that the movie just came out, and it's kind of one of those things that I wanted to buy the book, namely because I wanted to read the book before I watched the movie, and now that the movie is out on DVD, everyone's like, Rena, let's go watch this movie, and I'm kind of like, I want to read the book first, and that happens to be The Martian by Andy Weir. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, I don't know where you've been living, especially since the movie just came out with Matt Damon. For those of you who don't know what this is about, it follows an astronaut named Mark Watney, who happens to be left on Mars after, an accident ensues, and it just so happens that Mark happens to be the team's, botanist, and he manages to survive on Mars until a rescue mission is underway to go and, get him. So the next book that I have to show you is kind of like a spin-off series, and it is The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I haven't read the Grisha trilogy, but it's definitely up there on my series to read, next pretty soon. And I know that this is a heist novel. It follows 6 teenagers or young adults that plan on pulling off a heist, and I know that it takes place in the world of the Grisha. The next novel I have to show you is getting a lot of hype recently, and that is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I know that this is a kind of like a historic fiction novel. I don't remember who described it, but a Booktuber described it as a scavenger hunt through time and space. The next book that I have is a fantasy novel that I don't know too much about, and that is Burning Sky by Sherry Thomas. Sometimes I like to go in blind just so I can be surprised and blown away by the story. So yeah. The next novel that I'm definitely going to show you is a romance kind of novel, kind of like Passengers, but this one goes through different realms, and that is A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. The main character, Marguerite, her father is murdered, and all evidence points to his assistant, Paul, and as Marguerite goes to confront Paul, Paul slips into another dimension, and it kind of just ensues from there. So I want to get to this one, I know. It is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is a pseudonym for JK Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, and if it's by JK Rowling, I'm down to read it. I know it follows a detective and crime, and why not? Whoa, Rena, how did you change so fast? It's funny because I recorded the first part of my haul a couple days ago, and I was about to go edit it, yesterday, but then I was like, wait, today is the day that Stars Above comes out by Marissa Myers. So I went to Barnes & Noble, unknowingly, that place is so dangerous. You walk in there thinking you're only gonna get like one book. I walked out with 7 books. Part 2 of my haul, I guess. So I guess we're just gonna jump into the 7 books that I bought yesterday at Barnes & Noble, and obviously the first one is Stars Above by Marissa Myers. Now this is the bind-up of novellas. They take place anywhere between before Cinder and I guess after Cinder, because I know that there is a wedding involved. Now my collection is complete, other than the graphic novel that she's coming out with later on. I have Ferris, Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, and now Stars Above. The next book that I picked up, I saw it was on like one of the tables as soon as I walked in, and I've been meaning to get it for a while now, is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I know that this is about 2 magicians, and then there's love and romance and magic. The next book I have to haul is a Barnes & Noble, I guess one of the leather-bound books that they have, like the exclusive leather-bound books, and that is Peter Pan. I was actually really excited to pick this one up because I've been meaning to read more and more books to my little brother now that he's just turned 3, and I'm trying to get him to the habit of reading almost every night, and Peter Pan definitely seems like a book that I would read to him. The next book that I'm going to be showing you was kind of like in the bargain area, like the bargain price area. It happens to be Divorce Papers by Susan Rager. So this novel follows our main character Sophie, who is a 29-year-old attorney. Now Sophie has never dealt with a divorce before, where assets and custody of children have been involved. So when her client decides to choose Sophie as her attorney, she explains to her how this is her first divorce case and she's never had to deal with this before, but her client is sort of happy to pick Sophie because she's never been through a divorce, so she kind of wants to have someone along for the ride. And it seems interesting because it comes with emails and paperwork and files, and it just seems like it'd be an exciting read. I said earlier that I was done showing you box sets. That was a lie, because yesterday as I was strolling through Barnes & Noble, I just happened to see the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, and this one goes hand in hand with my Moral Instruments series. I've never read any of Cassandra Clare's books, so I'm kind of excited to see where this is going, especially since the TV show is out. So many of you love the series. That's all I have to show you for my haul today. Hopefully I won't be buying any more books anytime soon, although I don't see that being the case, seeing as my birthday is this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. But for this haul, that's all I have to show you. Thanks so much for watching my video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of these books. I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are on it, and what other books I should pick up, even though I really shouldn't be buying any more books. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!